there, you've joined us on Starting Up. Now, with social media tools like Facebook and Twitter only gaining popularity, there seems to be a social media influencer that's emerging on the net. The question really is there money to be made in that space? Well, that's exactly what startup Twtbuck are trying to wrap their head around. Let's hear them out on Super Angels.
Hello and welcome to Super Angels, a show where we endeavor to find India's next super entrepreneur. I have with me Super Angel Mahesh Murthy. Mahesh, welcome back to the show.
Good to be back.
So what's your take on the paid advertising space as a whole?
You know, I think the entire idea of social media and the spread of social media is that it's earned advertising, not paid advertising. So when you build a page on Facebook and you get n number of fans, you don't necessarily pay for them. It's because when you pay for them, typically engagement goes down.
Some level you believe there's a conflict at the core conceptualization of this?
There's an issue which I believe will prevent this from becoming very big, but I could be wrong.
Let's go ahead and take a look at the pitch and see if they convince you otherwise.
You've got 1,000 regular readers on your blog. The amount of money you make, $100. You've got over 3,000 friends and followers on social media. The amount of money you make, zero. When you spend as much time creating content on social media, it's reaching to a large audience. Shouldn't you be rewarded for it? That's what we do using Twtbuck. We tie up with advertisers who provide relevant ads on the platform for our publishers, and the suitable publishers then send out the ads to their friends and followers on social media. Every valid click on the ad in the social media world earns us money, 50–60% of which is shared with the publisher. In addition to this, we also allow our advertisers to crowdsource tasks which can be taken up by our users. And from surveys to trying out new products, our users are rewarded for taking them up. Our platform has got over 21,000 publishers and over 400 advertisers. We've got brands like Standard Chartered, Ford, Fiat using Twtbuck. We project the number of users to increase to 1 million over the next 3 years, and the revenues to increase from Rs 40 lakh in 2012 to Rs 22 crore in 2015. To make this a reality, I would like to pitch for Rs 1.8 crores for 30% stake in Twtbuck. The funds will be used for hiring, marketing, and opening sales offices in the US and Singapore.
Let's go ahead and invite Gaurav into the studio. Hi Gaurav, good to see you. Gaurav, take us through some of the steps that led to Twtbuck.
I've been into internet field for last from the age of 15. I was witnessing that social media is growing up and Twitter is not making money from it. So I thought let's make something and sell it off to Twitter.
You're quite clear that Twtbuck is built to sell and not built for scale.
It depends upon the offer.
We go to product, Mahesh. Yeah. I mean, you meet a number of companies. Does that freak you out that a company would start it keeping in mind who it wants to sell out to?
No, it's a good sign. I mean, if you know you're starting up a company and you know that there's a potential acquirer,
right.
I think it's a good sign because you're already thinking of an exit for yourself and for the investor. That's fine.
Gaurav, he just hit 10,000 followers. You're sort of speaking to the bard when it comes to social networking and social media. Mahesh, you saw the pitch. What's your take on Twtbuck?
So I think it's an interesting idea. I mean, if I look at blogs, the way blogs have grown, and blogs have AdSense. However, the reality is that if you take all the bloggers, and there's probably 50 who are able to make a living with their AdSense earnings, because you really don't make that much. Also, the fact is that, you know, in a blog, if you're a blogger and I'm coming to your blog and your blog is, also the fact is that, you know, in a blog, if you're a blogger and I'm coming to your blog and your blog is about your content and there's ads on the side and I know what's your content and I know what's the ads and I don't mind it and you don't mind putting ads on the side of it, right? However, on my tweet stream, so let's say I tweet 4 or 5 times a day and there's about 10,000 odd people who are out there following me, I think I'd be very, very concerned if suddenly, you know, some tweets with some paid links went out there, because I think I would lose the trust of my followers.
All the ads you see are basically from your likes. What are you liking on Facebook exactly? I mean, we have data for 126 likes. What you have? You like cars, you like everything. So these are the ads you see, basically very, very targeted ads. As you said, like you will make $1, $10 a day, something like that. No, if Mahesh Murthy tweets, Citibank is offering amazing deal, I like it, it's amazing, and you get 100 clicks, you'll make $100 a day.
So something Gaurav prides himself on is the usability of his product. He's actually brought the laptop in here as well. So you're a new user. Show me what I can send out today.
Okay. So let's go to ad offers which are matching to our thing. Okay, so there are now 2 ad offers coming for us. One is a company which is into cloud computing.
Right.
Okay, so this is the one ad, and other is this is a social network based out of US. So it's matching to my profile somehow, and it's showing out as a offer for me.
Right.
Okay, so when we click on here, we get to know more about this thing.
So you're making the ad look like it's a recommendation.
It's a suggestion kind of. So we have like these 7 networks we can share with, and which from where we track the clicks. Tell you how the ad goes into Facebook.
Okay.
Here it comes like a simple link I'm suggesting, and I can put it like. You'll notice that I have not used any API or.
So it's just a link.
Gaurav, how much money would I make?
You can make up to $3,000 a month.
$3,000. But I have to lose all my friends.
Mahesh, before we go there, what do you make of the products now that we've seen the
I think it's well designed. The UI is nice. It's good to see. It's a pleasure to see an Indian product company with a good UI. Questions about fundamentally,
Right.
would you...
So his argument there is that they have spent a lot of time and intelligence on making ads look not like ads.
But finally, the consumer knows it's an ad. If I put it out there, 10,000 of my followers or your followers are going to sit back and say, why is he putting paid advertising? So,
So that's a grey line, but you're saying 95 people know it's an ad.
will know. And, even if 5 people know it's an ad, those 5 will tweet so much that the other 95 will know it right away. For example, when Priyanka Chopra a year ago was tweeting about this particular Toyota car, it was very clear that she just, she was getting paid almost lakh per tweet.
Right.
So at which point she stopped doing it because the whole world knew that she was not doing it herself. So the most influential person in India, I manage a list called India Influencers at Pinstrong, is the Dalai Lama. The Dalai Lama is not going to send out tweets, right?
Not as Sachin Tendulkar.
Right? Sachin Tendulkar will not. Priyanka Chopra is not likely to do it for $1 a tweet. Let me give you an alternative suggestion. You do want to get, let's say, you do want to get a Priyanka Chopra or a Dalai Lama or whoever, actor Siddhartha, any of these guys. What if you turn this around and said, for these kind of carefully vetted, curated advertisers, if you allow this to go on your timeline, we will feed 3 school children, or somebody will go to school, or some donation will be done to a charity, right? By doing that, I would be happy to do that, right? Now that then becomes a social cost. At that point, you can take some 10%, 15% of it, right? Because otherwise, you're not going to get the influencers to do it.
In India, people are not much experienced with this kind of advertising. In US, Brazil, these areas, people are very much familiar with this kind of advertising, and they actually add proper hashtag AID and everything to that.
So, for example, today an Oprah or others, or Ashton Kutcher, these guys have millions of followers on Twitter.
Correct.
They actually will sit back and they get paid. Somebody will pay them $500,000 for for something out there. Even an Apple says, you've got to put $1 million into an iAd unit. So my worry is that the guys who are big, who are influential, who have the reach, will be taken away by the big companies. You're going to be left fighting for the smaller guys. The earnings have also got to be substantial. If you're saying, a guy with 10,000 followers is going to earn $3,000 a month, yeah. Okay, that's fine. What about regular mom and pop, 400, 500, 200 followers? The average person on Facebook has 143 followers.
Correct.
What are you going to be able to make out of that?
I'll tell you what the average checks does goes out is. They normally comes around $70 to maybe $325.
$70 to $325. In no country in the world are you going to be able to live a comfortable life for that. How will you grow unless it really becomes somebody's full-time job?
There are 6 billion people in the world. There are 100 million people using internet properly.
Yeah, but you have to be important for whoever you are with, right?
Correct.
You maybe have one person, but that one person has to make a living and become an example to everybody else.
See, I never had this kind of approach like making Twtbuck a mainstream income source for anyone. So I can't answer
unless
you
that
on that
happens,
point.
Unless that happens, how will you ever be taken seriously?
I got your point.
You want 1.8 crores, you're willing to give up 30% of the company, and 1.8 crores will take you to US and Singapore. Boss man, in the US, to get one sales guy is a crore of rupees a year.
But what about Twitter itself saying, hey, we don't need you anymore, stop doing this, and they ban it?
So it's possible. They're injecting ads out there, and you can't tell Twitter, I'm sorry, you're not going to get a cut. You're not going to get a cut. So at some point, they can actually come and slam it down unless you figure out very quickly that...
How to keep them happy as well.
Yeah, how to keep them happy. If you become big, they can slap you.
Yeah, fine.
The only secret is not to become big. And if you're not to become big, why should I be interested in you?
Mahesh, you had mentioned this whole social approach, right? Can you elaborate upon that and your ideas upon that so that Gaurav can perhaps take some ideas from it?
My sense is that for you to get acceptability, you must be liked a lot. You know, in the sense, Twitter should say, oh my God, if I shut them down, I'm going to incur the wrath of millions of people, right? So how do you become so well loved that millions of that Twitter say, oh my God, I can't shut him down. I have to iske saath samjhauta karna hi hai. Okay? So to do that, why can't you do some good? Dalai Lama, there's Sachin, who's got 12 lakh followers on Twitter. And then there's Priyanka Chopra with 11 lakh followers. Can you get these guys to say something out there? At that point, you start winning the hearts, and you repeat that in every country that you're in. Get a few guys, do some social good. Think of it as your own corporate social responsibility. And then slowly you start building credibility for this platform.
Well, Mahesh is not a big fan of the Twtbuck platform at this point. He does believe it can be spun off into a very powerful social platform. Perhaps that will be a good way to get big advertisers on board. You can vote for Twtbuck by emailing us on startingup@etnow.tv, by SMSing us, or by simply logging onto our Facebook wall. Will Gaurav be India's next super entrepreneur? Well, continue following us on Super Angels and find out.
Well, fantastic. And like every time, Twtbuck will, of course, be mentored by our mentoring partner, Sty, over the next 6 months. We'll take a quick breather here on the show, but coming up, a group of wannabe entrepreneurs training from one of the best business schools in the world and a lot of brainstorming, we head to the INSEAD boot camp.